This pie is also very special to me, guys, because I met my boyfriend 2 years ago and I made it for him on our second date. The rest was history. Hello everybody, I'm Vaughn. I'm here at the NYT Cooking Studio Kitchen, and today we're making key lime pie. I don't have enough good things to say about key lime pie. I think it's one of my favorite desserts. It reminds me of the beach. That nice salty bite in the graham cracker crust offsets that tart bite. This is your summer loving key lime pie. Let's make it. Let's make a crust. No, I need to work on my Mickey voice. I truly went into my closet. I was like, what's the most Florida man shirt I can find? Obviously, graham cracker crust, very traditional. I was down at my aunt's place, which is in Anna Maria, Florida, not the Keys. Every restaurant we went to, we would get the key lime pie, and we would kind of rate it and talk about what we liked about it, what was different from the other restaurants we had it at. And I think that for me, the crust really was that make or break. The key lime pie filling is pretty standard. The crust is really the thing that is obviously the foundation of what you're working on. I have it mostly pulsed. Anything that's big like this, it kind of comes to the surface. You can just crush it with your hands. And now I'm gonna melt my butter, and then we'll be rocking and rolling with our crust. Yeah. Nice seeing you here. Be very careful of it splattering, so I cover it with the butter wrapper actually. I'll probably check it after 20 seconds just to make sure. Just take it out when the pats of butter are floating to the surface, struggling for their lives. Take a fork and whisk it until the residual heat melts the rest of the butter. This is kosher salt. If you're working with a table salt, I would definitely check salinity levels and probably half it. The brown sugar also adds a little bit of that deeper, richer molassesy flavor. I like to use my hands because if there are any bigger pieces of graham cracker crumb, you can kind of just go through and do that with your hands. But also, I'm not totally worried about pieces like that because, it doesn't have to be so super uniform. I'm gonna go in with the butter. You wanna mix it until the crumbs are really well saturated. It's also nice to use your hands here. It's like you're shampooing. It's When I go like this, it's almost like wet sand. It should leave an indentation, but it shouldn't be super compact. We don't want it to be like a brick. If you had more moisture in here, then it kind of leads to a soggy crust as it sits in the refrigerator. Okay, so now I'm just gonna spread this in here. And like I said, I like a little bit of a heftier crust, so this is going to look at first pretty full. Get a flush surface all the way across. I take a bigger measuring cup and start in the center and press down. And that's how I kind of work the crust to the edge. I like to make sure that there is a pretty even amount all the way around. I take the 90-degree edge and then I take my forefinger of my left hand. You are kind of pressing them into each other like that. You may be like, oh, this looks like crumbly, but you're gonna bake it, so it's gonna solidify a little bit more. And some of that moisture is gonna draw out of it. And occasionally, since I'm really pressing in this way, some of the bottom has indentation, so I'll just take this and make sure that that stays flush. That's kind of the thickness I'm looking for. I woke up this morning feeling a little crummy. But then I said, hey, I'm gonna have key lime pie. Just gonna go back through now that I have my foundation laid. Then I kind of take my measuring cup and very slowly go around the sides just to see if I have any weak spots, just if there's any give. So because as I was pressing it, it kind of created this little volcano. You can take a fork or a spoon or whatever and just kind of push those crumbs back in, pat that down. The rest of these crumbs can just be pressed back in. It's pretty meditative, honestly. I'm gonna bake this for about 15 minutes. Color's gonna deepen a little bit, but we do wanna get a pretty good bake on it because we want it to stay together while you're slicing it. What's that I smell? My crust. Oh, she's looking nice. So you can see, it definitely took on a more golden, deeper color, almost ambery. It smells really good. I'm gonna let that cool completely to room temperature. So I've got key limes here. Really tart, very puckery, much more so than your normal lime juice. Ooh. I am gonna zest these little things. I need a tablespoon, so that's gonna be about 78 limes. Be here zesting all day. 3 hours later. Okay, wow. I've got a tablespoon and then some. One thing that's really important when you're mixing this curd is you do not want to mix it much more than like 5 minutes in advance before pouring it in the crust. Your curd can actually start to curdle, and I know that that sounds a little like antithetical. It'll get chunky and gross. Just do this while your crust is like almost cool, which mine is because zesting these limes took 7,000 years. I like to get my eggs and my sweetened condensed milk started first to make sure that all of those yolks are really evenly incorporated in there, because that's gonna help us with that nice, smooth, even curd. Gorge. Even though the acidity is a really strong flavor, we still want that salt content to kind of balance it a little bit. And I'm gonna add my hard-earned key lime zest. Add your key lime juice in there. Okay, Zero Waste King, go off. I'm going to start stirring this in the center and then work my way out. And you will actually see that this mixture starts to thicken as you're stirring it. Ugh. Absolutely gorgeous. So you can see how jiggly it is now. I'm just giving it a little wobble to even out the top. I'm gonna bake it for about 15-ish minutes until the edges are set, but we still want there to be a wobble, because if you bake it till it's completely set, then you're gonna end up with, again, a curdled curd. All right, so I was looking for a slight wobble. The edges are set and not really moving, but when I kind of just very gently move her back and forth, it's a tighter jiggle than a Jell-O jiggle. You can tell that this is gonna continue to set up even more, but it's not gonna be overbaked. I'm gonna let this cool completely to room temperature, and then I'm gonna stick it in the refrigerator for at least 3 hours. If you're gonna be chilling it overnight, I would definitely cover it with some plastic wrap. It's got such a nice yellow color, it's shiny. I can see my reflection in this thing. It is going to slice really nicely. There is no wobble left. Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside while I make the whipped cream. This is just a very standard whipped cream. A nice whipped cream with like mascarpone or creme fraiche would be really good in this, but again, I wanted this to be like a very classic. Salting your dairy is, for me at least, usually a cardinal rule, especially for a whipped cream. It just helps it make it taste more like itself. I'm gonna start it out of it and then go in. Now you wanna make sure that your heavy cream is really, really cold. And you can see that my powdered sugar had a little bit of clumps in it, but they will dissolve. Starting to thicken up here. Ooh. Slice is like a dream. Like seeing this cross section, making me feel things. A testament to the sturdiness of the crust. And it's not soggy, which is paramount for me. That is so good. The graham cracker crust is hefty without being dense. It's very tart, but in a way that's like palatable. My little salivary glands are going zing, but then the cream is calming them down. It's like a bath, very therapeutic. If you want to find this key lime pie recipe and bring a little bit of Florida to you, go to nytcooking.com and click the link below. If you want someone to fall in love with you, make them this key lime pie.